On April 3, 2009, Najib Razak was sworn in as Malaysia's 6th Prime Minister. 10 years later, he's the center of attention for a very different reason. Najib is in court to face charges linked to the siphoning of billions of dollars from the state investment fund, 1MDB. He pleaded not guilty to 7 charges including corruption, money laundering and abuse of power. It includes the alleged theft of $10 million of 1MDB funds transferred to Najib's private account. He's due back in court later this month. A total of 42 charges have been brought against the former leader. US prosecutors believe more than $4.5 billion was looted and used to fund a Hollywood film, buy luxury items and extravagant gifts. Najib is accused of receiving hundreds of millions of dollars in his personal account. He has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing.
Put it this way, I am confident of winning this case,
But whether defense is called for me to win or not, that is a question that is difficult to answer. It depends on how the evidence goes.
Meanwhile, the government says it has sold a yacht linked to the scandal for $126 million. It was allegedly bought using laundered funds by Najib's financier Jho Low, who's being sought. Malaysian authorities have pledged to get to the bottom of the 1MDB case and have teamed up with investigators from 5 countries to track down and recover the missing money.
Clare Rewcastle Brown is an investigative journalist and the founder of the Sarawak Report, which first reported the 1MDB case. She attended the trial and explains the charges brought about on Wednesday.
Well, it was a very highly charged atmosphere at the court today. I came in to get a feel for that and found myself surrounded by literally scores of reporters and cameramen, and indeed an aggressive posse of Najib supporters, many of whom yelled and chanted that they wished me dead for being the reporter who unveiled a lot of his scandal. I was then able to join some of the overflow of reporters and others who were in a video link in order to be able to watch the proceedings of the trial. Najib was facing the first 7 charges out of some 38 that he will eventually be expected to be brought to task over. The reason for the first 7 is that they are fairly simple charges relating to a money trail for some 42 million ringgit that was siphoned out of a subsidiary of 1MDB named SRC International within Malaysia, and then allegedly spent on his own personal shopping. There were trips to Honolulu, purchases of Chanel watches, diamond purchases on his credit cards, in Italy on holiday, renovations to his house, and payments to some of his political allies. So these are quite straightforward and easily traced charges. And so the prosecutors have decided to lead on those, at least to establish the fact that the Prime Minister is guilty. I suspect that the wider trial could go on for years. This day 1 of the trial is now to be followed by a 2-week break. Because the lead defence barrister has said that because the original window was set aside and derailed by him, actually, he now says he's too busy for the next 2 weeks with other legal work, and so the entire trial now goes into suspension until April the 15th. When everyone will return to continue with the remaining witnesses and indeed the case. Malaysia has its general economic problems that have arisen out of this and other surrounding corruption scandals. Of course, the previous government, now the opposition, are seeking to lay as much blame as possible on the present government, who have come in to pick up and try and sort out a lot of those economic woes that are causing a lot of belt tightening and unhappiness, naturally, with much of the public here.